You know, sometimes I sit here and I thank God for a lot of things. I thank God for my wife, my kids, everything He's blessed me with in life. But one thing I thank God for the most, other than my family, is that I was born in the 1980s. I didn't grow up to having an influencer telling me how to act, what to wear, how to think, who to vote for, who to worship. I was taught that by my parents. I thank God my grandfather was there in my life. I didn't grow up with parents. I didn't grow up with the mom and the dad. They left. They were all product of the 60s and 70s, free love, leave kids with the grandparents. That's where I come from. But I thank God my grandparents raised me as if I was their own. I felt no different. Until this day, I thank God I had the grandfather that I have. He wasn't just my grandpa, he was my dad. My grandma took the place of my mom. I didn't know any different. Everything I ever needed in life, my grandparents gave me. I had no influencer. I had nobody on TikTok telling me what to think, what to do, where to go, how to act, what to wear. That wasn't a part of my growing up. My part of growing up was getting out on my Diamondback BMX bike. As soon as I got out of school, I was gone to my friend's house. It didn't matter if he was my friend the day before or not. You met kids in the neighborhood and you were best friends the day you met them. Your parents knew where you was. All they had to do was drive around the block and they saw the gang of bicycles sitting out in front of a house and they knew that's where you was at. They didn't come knocking on the door because they knew when them street lights came on, your ass was supposed to be home. And if you wasn't home, there was a phone call made to every parent in your neighborhood until they got a hold of you. And once they got a hold of you, that's when you knew you done messed up. That's why we're a different generation. We didn't fall for the gangster life because we watched it on TV. We watched it at the movie theater. We went to our local independent record store and we bought Eazy-E's album. We bought Tupac's album. We bought Eric B. and Rakim's album. We bought Gangstar's album. We bought the Dog Pound's album. And we thought we was gangster driving around. We sure did. But then we realized we ain't gangster. As soon as we came around gangsters, shh, be quiet. Don't say nothing gangster. But let's get out in the parking lot and crank that music up right before we're about to leave. That's exactly what we all did. You know it. 99% of you did the same exact thing. But it's all good because we're still here to this day, living the life we live. And most of us are successful. We don't cry about every little thing. We don't go in and get injections to fucking. I didn't mean to cuss. This is sentimental stuff right here. We don't go into the doctors and get our parts cut off to try to fit in with the crowd. We don't sit there and wave a flag other than the American flag to try to fit in with the other crowd. We don't go to blue rallies to try to fit in with the other crowd. Nah. We go to the rallies that make America great again because the life we lived back in the 80s, yeah, it was kind of hectic. You know, the first part of it, anyways, because we had a lot of the Cuban Missile Crisis stuff still going on. But the better half of the 80s, leading into the 90s, no generation could ever have that lifestyle. But we'll get back to that. Family meant family back then. And it does today. And we will get back to that. Have a good night.